Tonight, somewhere after midnight, the floorboards remember every footstep, and the walls remember every whisper. I remember too. The forest held its breath beneath a moon like a tired coin. Leaves turned their faces to the faint light, and even the insects clicked more quietly. Is where I met it, asked for silence. He wasn't roaring, he didn't need to. Power, when it is real, doesn't explain itself. He lay in a bowl of shadow, eyes half closed, the way old kings rest. When the kingdom has learned their name, around him the world arranged itself carefully, like glassware on a ship. Then a small thing entered the page, a mouse hardly more than a heartbeat with fur. She moved like a question that refused to leave, threading the high grass, stitching the dark to the darker. Hunger is small, she thought, but it keeps its promises. She climbed where crumbs of sun had fallen and cooled, ran across the lion's paw the way a child might run a hand along a father's old coat, curious, unafraid, not knowing the stories woven into the cloth. The paw twitched, the world changed key. In one unhurried motion, because power has no hurry, the lion closed his hand around the little life. The forest inhaled somewhere, a branch forgot which way to point. Small, the lion said without moving his mouth, for sometimes thought is louder than thunder. Small and bold and foolish, the mouse trembled but found her voice. My lord, I meant no harm. If you let me go, I will repay you. Repay, such a thin word to offer a mountain. The lion almost smiled the way old statues do when the light moves. Debt and favor are currencies of large men. What could a grain of dusk return to the night? But mercy, like rain, does not ask the field its size. He opened his hand, the small heartbeat ran free, fell back into the weave of grass and did not look behind her. For gratitude sometimes runs faster than fear. Days passed, the kind that imitate each other. The forest rehearsed its lines and spoke them well. Men came out, they brought rope and iron, and an idea that everything belongs to someone if you can write it down. They set a net like a quiet pinion across a path. The lion used when the air tasted like rain. He walked into it without ceremony. Dignity is not armor, it is posture. The chords sang their thin, triumphant song. The ground listened ashamed. He struggled, and the forest shook its head. The moon climbed one step on the stair of clouds. Far away, a small memory felt the string of the world pull tight. The mouse stopped as if the night had spoken her name. She followed the sound that wasn't a sound, the way a compass follows sorrow there. A A crown fallen into knitting, a king strangled by a lesson he did not choose. She did what teeth are for. Rope is only patience braided, she unbraided it. Knot by knot, thread by thread, the way grief is undone by mornings you survive. The cords forgot their conspiracy. The net remembered it had always been many small strings. The lion stood the forest ache's head. They looked at each other the way old enemies sometimes look when the war retires. No ceremony, no trumpets, only the honest arithmetic of the world. I once held you, you now free me. And what did it mean? Only this: size is a costume, strength is a season, kindness when spent returns with interest. Tonight the floorboards remember and the walls remember, I remember too. If you carry power, open your hand. If you carry smallness, sharpen your mercy. Either way, leave the forest better than you found it. Once upon a summer that never seemed to end, a grasshopper sang like time owed him eternity. He played his fiddle under the sun, each note a tiny promise to forget tomorrow. The ant passed by with dust on her shoulders, carrying food, carrying silence, carrying faith. She heard the music and smiled without stopping. She was building a future no one else could see. He laughed, "Why so serious?" She answered without looking up, "Because winter doesn't care if you were beautiful in July." He kept playing because the sound of joy felt like truth. But truth is also a shadow. It moves when the light changes, and light always changes. When autumn came, the grasshopper called it poetry. When autumn left, he called it loneliness. Snow fell like silence, learning to speak. His fiddle froze in his hands. The ground turned honest, there was no applause. Only the heartbeat of regret. He knocked on the ant's door. "Old friend," he said, "I have a song but no place to sing it." The ant looked at him a long time. Her eyes were small fires. She opened the door halfway. "You sang when the world was warm," she said. "Now you can rest until it's warm again." She set a bowl of grain between them. He didn't eat right away, he just listened to the sound of being forgiven. He said, "I thought life was about music." She answered, "It is, but someone still has to carry the wood that keeps the music alive." They sat like that for hours, two souls who had both been right and wrong. The fire between them was small, but so was hope, the first time it ever warmed anyone. Years passed. Seasons kept teaching the same lesson in different languages. The grasshopper worked now, he built cellars, saved seeds. But every night he still played. The ant grew older, her steps slowed. One day she heard his music from the distance again. Not a song of youth, but of gratitude. She smiled, he was finally singing the truth. Not every joy is waste, not every plan is wisdom. We need both to stay human. Winter returned, as it always does, but this time the grasshopper wasn't afraid. He had wood, he had food, and a small memory of someone who once believed in work more than beauty. He sat by the window, played one last note to the snow, and whispered, time doesn't forgive, but it teaches. And learning is its own kind of redemption. Now the fields are quiet, the fiddle rests against the wall. Somewhere beneath the frozen earth, the ant seeds are waiting. And when spring comes, both their stories will rise together. Work and music, memory and meaning, discipline and desire. No longer enemies, just different ways to honor the same light. Thank